Hey, we're going to be looking at ticker symbol GTBIF, and that is for Green Thumb Industries. This is an over-the-counter type stock, so it may or may not be available on your brokerage account. If it's not, I'm going to recommend you use Webull. It's an account that or a brokerage type app that I use. Uh, no complaints with it so far. So if you don't have an account, or if you do have an account, you can use that and probably trade for this. If you don't have a Webull account, again, you can use that referral link. And if you are new to the app, and after you make your first deposit, you'll be rewarded about 12 partial shares or full shares. I'm not sure how it works, but you'll basically get free money, free partial stocks, or something ranging in value. And seems like a good trade if you don't have one already. But with that out of the way, what I want to do here is just kind of do a very brief overview of the company. We'll go into some news that we've seen and just items I want to share as we continue to learn about this company. And then we'll break down the technical analysis, see if anything's changed. The last time we looked at this was on March 31st. And at that point, all I have on my tracker is $7. So it's still at $7. Currently, right now, it's at $7.10. The last time we looked at this, again, was on the 31st. So around that time, it was probably about 7.93. So it's definitely dropped since then. But just the way I'm rounding, where I just do the whole number, uh, my tracker shows it's the same price, still at $7. So I had that as a buy. My buy point was $8, a resistance point of $15. So quick way to double up, in my opinion. We'll see how long that takes, but uh, with that in mind, $15 is in play, and we could double up on that. So another reason why I like this. Um, Overall, let's just go into the news. I think I've said all I need to say there. So they recently had their fourth quarter and full year 2022 results come out, and so let's just check them out. For the fourth quarter, their revenue was 259 million, which was an increase year over year of 6%. However, it was a decrease of 1% sequentially. They had cash flow from operations at 70 million, so pretty good. Cash at the end of the quarter, 178 million. Lots of money in case things go wrong or to possibly purchase new assets. A lot of cash. If we look at the full year, they hit $1 billion in revenue for the first time, which was an increase of 14% year over year. So very positive, double-digit growth. We'd like to see that. For the full year, they actually had a net income of $12 million, which equals like 5 cents per share. This is where I'm at right now. Um, Outside of that, they congratulate themselves on $1 billion in revenue. They actually had $300 million in adjusted gross operating. What is that? Earning before income tax, depreciation, and um, amortization, which is decent margin, 30%. Uh, this kind of gives us a little more in depth. The only thing I feel like I want to point out on this is we touched on the growth. They have 65 stores. Um, at one point, it goes into I think it's here. Yeah, so the gross profit, it's pretty decent, about 50%. So in the fourth quarter of 2022, they had $124 million in gross profit, which is about 48%, pretty good. For the full year, oh no, okay, so that's last year. For the full year, gross margin was $504 million, which is about 50% of their revenue goes to the gross margin. So very good. It actually has gone down some. I'm not going to read too much into that. I have to imagine that's due to um, Cost of goods sold, I would imagine, just because if they open more stores, that means they have to pay more people. That means they have to have extra inventory, which means cost of sales goes up. Uh, that's how I imagine it is. SG&A seems to be about 30%, which leaves them 20%. So it's a little bit surprising to see them drop into a very low net income for the full year. But I guess just purchases kind of add up and you just don't even realize it. They also did something a little bit uh, different. I didn't expect to see this. So if we pull up their financials, their income statements, specifically go to the quarterly section, uh, they have this other income expense where they have a special income charge, impairment of capital assets. Um, I'm not sure if that means a building or some sort of machine, but a capital asset. They took a loss here of $90,000, or I'm sorry, $90 million, because all of these are in thousands. So $90 million. I'm not sure what that is. Uh, if anyone knows, by all means, let me know. Be curious to know what that one is. Next up is their first quarter 2023 earnings. They're going to have a call for that in a couple weeks, May 3rd. One of their dispensaries, so Rise Dispensary, they are having a bunch of sales coming up because of 420 here. I guess they opened a book or created a book. Basically, they're trying to get people into using cannabis in food. And apparently, they show a statistic here, at least in 2021, 36% of cannabis consumers enjoyed cooking with it in their home. I don't know if that means in the food. I mean, I think that's kind of the assumption here, but maybe that just mean in the house, like sitting there on the counter. I don't know. But the reason why I think it's because of cooking, they go on to say the most common way to use it is in this can of butter, cannabis oil, and tinctures. Not sure even what that is. But yeah, so this Rise, that's one of the dispensaries. Another piece on that is they also opened their seventh retail location in Minnesota. This kind of makes sense because they're a Canada type store. They're coming down south, so Minnesota is first online. And April 17th, that's when it's going to be opening up. So that's, I think, on Monday, just a couple days away. Outside of this, anything else on this one? Not really. So they do have 7 of those stores, 78th nationwide. Okay, so they have 70. They must be growing a lot then, because if we go back to the full year report, I'm pretty sure we saw a comment where they've only had 55 stores. So all of a sudden now they have, or 65 stores. Now all of a sudden they have 78th. That's pretty quick stuff. But I think the catch was these are all um, a full year. Store open at least 12 months. And that's how they got 65. So who knows how many stores opened up. I guess at least 9. And then one other thing I wanted to share is I didn't realize how big Green Thumb was. I, I imagine they combined a few companies just under the umbrella of Green Thumb. But it looks like these are their retail shops. Is we have Rise, which is kind of what we covered. We have Essence, Blue Point, Affinity, SOCT, MHWC. Honestly, never heard of any of these. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Uh, Maybe I'll soon find out. They also have these brands: Bebo, Dog Walkers, Dr. Solomon's, Incredibles, Rhythm, and Good Green. Again, never heard of these, but uh, maybe I will soon. Maybe when Pennsylvania starts allowing these things, or I think that's the problem. Is I'm in PA and I don't think it's allowed recreationally yet, and therefore these products are not entering the market. But maybe someday soon, possibly, we'll find out. Um, but yeah, so interesting to learn. Green Thumb is a lot bigger, has a lot more entities as a part of it, so very diversified in a way. But let's go on to the technical. So we had marked out that it was in the downtrend. It has continued. So we thought it would stop at about 750, and right now it's at about 7 even. So it just continues to go lower. In fact, it's going even lower than our small little gap there. So it's nothing major. I mean, all I'd have to do is like bring this down, and then all of a sudden it's back in range. And in fact, I'll just keep it at that because you don't want it too narrow of a window. It just makes more sense to have it a little bit of wiggle room. Like I should probably even bump this out a little bit more just because, like I said, it's better to have some more wiggle room. But we'll keep it as it is for now. I think that's decent. We might spread it a little bit further. If I look at this is it's about 50 cents, so I think that's fair, considering the value of a share here is $7, so 50 cents, that's decent. A dollar would be probably the best, but 50 cents is good. Um, yeah, I'll be honest, like, the news that we just saw, it seems decent to me. It seems like they're on the up and up. If we go back to this industry report, I recall them mentioning how sales are continuing to rise. Here they're doing donation type programs, which is always a good thing to give back. Um, I'm not sure if it was this article, but he goes on to say that sales are growing. It's more so the margin is kind of getting hit right now. Um, where it has to be this page. Um, but yeah, just the margins are getting hit. Huh. I don't know where that article went. I thought it was down here somewhere, but I'm just not seeing it. Uh, but anyway, like I think for this one, the way that it's gonna grow is, there. Initially, I thought maybe I should get out of this one, uh, because I'm just thinking of it. I'm trying to think of it down the road, and one path that I kind of was seeing for this is it could turn out to be like apples in the future, or like carrots. When you think about it, it's just a plant, and it's like I'm not buying Apple stocks, not not Apple, like the phone company, but I'm not buying apples and oranges in the market because it's not a growth play. It's it's it hasn't really even crossed my mind to even do something like that. But that's what this is. It's just a plant. So there is a scenario where that could play out. It's just this plant is pretty valuable, and it has other uses, such as we saw with like the lotions and I guess cooking oil, cooking butter. Lots of uses here. So that was like a negative path that eventually it could just turn into something so common that it's really just like potatoes or something. You can trade that somewhere. Um, but the alternative route is it could be something more like cigarettes or beer, where at some point I imagine, if one day this became like nationally legal, I think their ideal would be they would close the dispensaries at some point. Maybe keep a couple of them, but I imagine the ideal would be lose all the storefronts and just have the products in all the stores. So like Walmart or 7-Eleven or whatever type of convenience stores, you would just have sort of like they have the cigarettes behind the counter. You would just have like a shelf that has, oh, you can get these couple things. Um, I the trouble with that is I don't know. It's an idea. I'm not sure how exactly that would work, um, but it could work. it definitely could work, but that's way down the road. Again, it would have to become like nationally legal. Then they would have to allow it to be held in those stores, which I'm sure is another battle. I know in Pennsylvania took forever to get alcohol to be served in like grocery stores. When other states it was that way for years, if not decades. So this could take a long time to play out. I think overall, though, what we're seeing in this one is it's still growing. Um, so let's see. I mean, this had tremendous growth. I mean, what? This is by quarter? Oh, okay. It's actually kind of flat. Um, I think it's still growing year over year. I mean, we saw that about 14%. I think if it can still stay in that range, continue to expand into new states, new areas, continue to grow, uh, yeah, I think eventually the profit will come. That's when everything will kind of work out. Um, so yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of keep adding to this one, very small amounts, which is nice because it's only a $7 stock. So, I could put in $50, and that's uh, whatever, like 7 shares right there, or even $20, and that's depending on where I can catch it. That's like 3 shares right there. So I think I'll just play it that way. Every time we circle back, if it's at a good price, I'll pitch, 20, $30 in, and just kind of keep building it up, because I think at some point this one will reverse, and we could easily come back up to like $10. And for that, that's like a 50% return that quick. And then we could potentially see that $15. That would be best, but that might be a ways away. So for now, we'll just keep watching this. It's still in a downtrend as far as we can tell, but nothing really is scaring me away from this at this point. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd be happy to read that. Otherwise, this is just a quick wrap up for us. So we have GTBIF currently is at 7. I'm saying buy less than 8, which it is. Resistance point probably at 15, probably also at 10. We'll continue to watch that. Updated the date. Minor downtrend, currently trading between 7 and 9. Market cap is 2x rev. Okay, interesting. I didn't remember writing that, but now that I read it, I kind of do. So 7 and 9. I think what we're gonna do is just change that to say minor downtrend. Past, how long has it been that way? About a month. Past month. So nothing crazy. So yeah, all I did is update right here, minor downtrend past month. We'll keep that market cap as 2x rev just to see if that kind of changes over time. But yeah, that's it. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.